You have been eating less, you're doing cardio, but the fat is still not coming off. Here's the truth, fat loss isn't just about losing weight, and most guys get this completely wrong. Today I will show you the 5 mistakes holding you back, and chances are you're making at least 2 of these mistakes right now. So let's get straight into it. And the first mistake, I swear I say this all the time, and that is people who only focus on being a calorie deficit. Now, this is good, but the problem is they think that as long as it fits my calories, I will eat it. And when I say this, I'm not talking about snacks or drinking liquid calories. What I'm talking about is people who only eat 1 time a day. And because they eat 1 time a day, it's really hard to go on a calorie surplus. Whatever you eat, you will still be in a calorie deficit because you only eat 1 time a day. And those kinds of people, they always eat pizza or hamburgers. They always go out with their friends and eat junk food. The problem with this is you won't be able to build any muscle. Look, you want to change yourself, which is great, but only focusing on your calories is not the solution. So here's how you avoid that mistake. You need to eat more than once a day so you can stay in a small deficit. Prioritize healthy, unprocessed foods so you get enough nutrients. And hit your protein intake so you can build muscle mass. Aim for 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of your ideal body weight. So if your goal is 180 pounds, that's 144 to 180 grams of protein per day. Remember, calories decides if you're able to lose fat. Protein decides if you're able to build an aesthetic body. And at the end of the day, our end goal is to build the aesthetic physique. Now, let's go over to the second mistake, and that is not tracking your progress the right way. Do you know the easiest way to gain a whole pound when you step on the scale? It's through eating a heavy carb meal. If you eat pizza, after a few hours, if you were to weigh yourself, you would have gone up a few pounds. Do you know why? It's because for every gram of carb you eat, you store up to 3 grams of water. Which means that if you step on the scale randomly, one day you might be down 3 pounds, the next day you're up 2 pounds. And you will start to think that your diet is not working, when in reality the problem is you're not tracking the right way. So to fix this problem, it's all about consistency. Weigh yourself every morning, after going to the toilet, and before you eat or drink anything. Do that for a whole week. Take the median, not the average, and compare it to every other week that you have measured. But the weight scale should not be your only tool. I also recommend 2 other ways to measure yourself. The first is mirror pics. Same pose, same lighting, same mirror. Take mirror pics every 2 to 4 weeks, and after a while, when you look back at the photos, you will see how much progress you have made. The second tool I recommend is to use a measurement tape. Measure your arms, measure your waist, measure your quads. By doing so every few months, you will be able to see clearer how much progress you have made. Because when you're overweight and you have gone down by 10 inches, it's really hard to see the difference in front of the mirror. But when you measure your waist and you see that you have gone down by 2 to 3 inches, you will be really proud of yourself. A lot of guys underestimate how important this is. With all the guys that I'm helping on their fat loss journey, I make sure that they measure their progress. So I recommend for you to do the same. Let's go over to the next mistake, and that is having a diet that you can't stick to long term. Most guys think that a diet means that you can only eat chicken breast, broccoli and rice. They think that these extreme restrictions is what you have to do. But because they do these extreme restrictions, well, they can't be consistent. Now here's the truth. The first rule of a diet is to eat foods that you like. Now when I say this, I'm not talking about pizza and burgers. What I'm talking about is chicken breast, drumstick, ground beef, egg. Most people like these kinds of foods. They are unprocessed, high protein foods. If your diet is built around natural foods that you like, it's almost impossible to not be consistent. For example, for me, in one day I can eat 400 grams of ground beef or a whole bag of chicken drumsticks. It's about 2.2 pounds. Now when you hear me say I eat a whole bag of drumsticks, you might think this is way too dry for me, it's impossible for me to do that. I hear you. So to solve this problem, this is what I do. I use a low calorie sauce to the side. I use ketchup or barbecue sauce. I recommend any low calorie sauce. Ideally, per 100 grams, it should be at maximum 200 calories. This makes this diet 10 times easier. This is what I want you to aim for. If you can't stick to your diet for 6 months, the diet is not the right one for you. That's the mindset I want you to have. Now, let's go over to mistake 4 because I think you're ready. Has this ever happened to you? Someone comes up to you, they say, give me a few weeks and I will be a changed man. I will lose all the fat. I will cut out sugar, junk food. I will only eat clean, nothing else. Then a few weeks go by and they look exactly the same. This literally happens all the time. Do you know why? It's because they're aiming for perfection. They try to be as clean as possible. They forget that we're humans. We all have cravings and it's really hard for us to not fall for our cravings. Here's my thinking in those situations. The stricter of a diet you have, the more mental friction you build up. And the only way to control that mental friction is through discipline. But when the mental friction gets too high, your discipline can't handle it, so the friction wins. This will lead you to start cheating on your diet. So how do you work around this? Well, aim for consistency over perfection. If you like cheese, have some cheese in the morning. If you like chocolate, have small portions throughout the week. Now when I say this, I'm not telling you to eat as much as you want. Only have small portions. What you need to do is to aim for consistency. This is your own race. My favorite quote is, this is a marathon, not a sprint. So take your time. You're only competing with yourself. Now I think you're ready for the 5th mistake, but I hope nobody does this. Because if you do it, you're basically playing diet on the hard mode. And that is, you follow a 6-day strict diet and then on the 7th day you tell yourself, I deserve a cheat day. I have been consistent, I have been disciplined, and on the 7th day I'm gonna go all out. When you do that, all you're doing is getting your calories back. Drinking milkshake, eating a bunch of snacks, you're literally undoing all of that progress you did for that week. So basically, you're at point 0 again. Now I understand why people do that. It's because of the point I mentioned earlier about mental friction. The stricter of a diet you have, the more mental friction you have. And following a 6-day strict diet, it builds a lot of mental friction in your mind. So you release all of it on Sunday. You start to binge eat, you undo all of that progress. So what I recommend instead is, instead of having cheat days, have cheat meals. Have small snacks throughout the week, because our goal is to control our mental friction so our discipline don't lose. And from my experience, having small snacks throughout the week will help you a lot. If you're outside with your friends and they want to eat smash burgers, go and eat with them. Eating outside once or twice won't hurt your progress. But of course, if you were to do that every single day, then that's a different matter. So the 5th mistake is, instead of having cheat days, have cheat meals. Spread out the junk food throughout the week so you build as little mental friction as possible. Now, if you don't want to waste months and years making these kinds of mistakes, this is literally what I do for my coaching. I help other men avoid these kinds of mistakes and I put them on the fastest possible track to build an aesthetic physique. So if you're serious about building your dream physique and you want to take this to the next level, click the first link in the description.